Hi guys.
Hello.
So I have got Abby and Becky with us today from Teamability. So I know both of these lovely ladies because I know Becky because I knew her son Benjamin when I was a teaching assistant at a school in Swindon, and also know her through drawing and talking. And Abby is my singing teacher. She's mine and my daughter's singing teacher. So we met when we did sports camp together, didn't we?
Yes.
So it's going back quite a few
All
years.
those years ago, yeah.
Which is really fun. So that's how I know both the ladies. And they have set up, well, firstly it was Singability you set up together, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then from that you've got Teamability. So yeah, I just kind of want to do a bit of a deep dive into kind of why you set up really and how you came together as a little two.
Yeah.
So wherever you want to kind of start with that.
Should we talk about how we met?
Yeah, it's always nice to hear like a little backstory of how it all came about. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess we knew you through Oakhurst, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah.
But really just as somebody who was there working on the sports camps, and then Zachary joined Stagecoach.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is that
yeah.
the order? And then you also became Zachary's singing teacher.
Yeah.
And then I think, going back, you did fundraising for Benjamin through Stagecoach. And that was the first time we ever spoke.
Yeah. That was the first event you did, wasn't it?
That's right.
So how many years ago was
So
that?
that would have been 2018-19.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's a long time, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
We had some singers that sang. I
Yes.
can't even remember how that was organised, but we did.
Yeah.
We sang for you.
Yeah.
And that's when we had our first little hello.
Yeah, and then I guess it then kind of evolved with Stagecoach and with singing. And I guess where the whole journey started was I'd be dropping off my other two children at clubs, and particularly Zachary, and constantly thinking Benjamin would absolutely love this. Would absolutely love to be part of these clubs. And then I guess I had this idea of setting up a group, a music group. And I think it took me about a year and a half of having this idea to have the confidence. And then I sent Abby a very formal email. And it wasn't a lack of confidence about emailing Abby, it was, who am I to set up something? Who am I to think of doing something? And I remember the email very formally, kind of, dear Abby, I have this idea. I know you're super busy. I would love, it'd be great to set up something to do with music for children, particularly children with profound disability in Swindon, because there isn't any provision. I don't want it to be therapy, not to be part of schooling life, but just something that's extracurricular. And I remember the reply was 100% yes. And then it kind of started from that, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's how the journey
began.
Yeah.
And how many people do you have for the group?
So Singability, we are like a pay-as-you-go situation because we know that so many things can impact your life as a parent carer as well as being a child with profound disability. So we kind of have about 5 to 8 children that will come every single week or when they can come. And it's most of our children have been there from the very beginning. So it's been it'll be 3 years in June.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Which is a really long time.
Yeah.
Which is, it just feels really close, family, lovely, friendly. Everyone knows each other's names, and we've really got to know the children now. Yeah. And the parents, which is just a lovely little vibe, isn't it? We'd obviously love to get every single child in Swindon that can come.
Definitely.
To come to us, because it's just, it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. So that's been, nearly 3 years.
It should be everywhere, like a franchise of it, because it's just a fantastic idea. Absolutely fantastic.
I think if we could duplicate ourselves, like clone ourselves and run it at different venues on different evenings, we definitely would, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. we know other families that would like to come, but just Mondays, you know, are not a great day for them, which is the day we've got. But we know we can't obviously pick a day for every family. But I guess that would be a long-term vision, wouldn't it?
Yeah. All united by music. That's lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So from there, we then, well, Bex, you had the idea, didn't you, about taking Singability into schools, basically. And I don't even think we sat on that idea for very long, because I can't even think about how that would work or what we wanted to do there. And it kind of snowballed into Teamability, which is all about awareness of inclusion, disability awareness, and sort of not making children, teaching children to understand what it feels like to live with a disability. Which Bex has got, you know, that real lived experience of being a parent carer and raising a child with profound disability. So the knowledge side of it kind of all comes from your experience with Benjamin, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, Benjamin, he didn't get a place at our local special school. And all those years ago, when you see Benjamin's diagnosis on paper, and then you think he didn't get a place, at the time we thought it's another fight as a family. And he got then a place at our local primary school where his brothers were, and it was the best thing that ever happened. And because not only was the effect that he had on the children, but the effect that the children had on him, but also the staff. And because he started there in nursery, the children didn't really know any different. And, you know, I would have to take Benjamin physically in his wheelchair into the class to meet his kind of one-to-one, and the children would have things ready for him, his favourite things, and they would talk to him. And I very quickly realised they didn't see a little boy who needed to be hoisted, was in a wheelchair, who maybe squealed at inappropriate times and things like that. That they did see Benjamin, a little boy who still deserved to be part of their class, and they communicated with him. And then it was the right decision when we then moved him across to our local special school. And we are so fortunate that we live so close to our local special school. But he went from a class of 30 to a class of 8. And he really struggled with that transition.
Did he?
And very much looked for kind of teacher guidance, because the children all have their own needs, and he likes noise, he likes people to be with him. And that's when I realised, actually, you know, if he hadn't have gone to mainstream, those children would have never met him. And even now, I said to Abby, it was about 3 weeks ago, I was in Asda of all places. As we know, Benjamin loves Asda. And a young boy came up to me and said, "Is that Benjamin?" And I said, "Oh, yes, it is." And he said, "Oh, I was in his class." And he remembered. And for me now, I believe we need more joined up thinking, or joined up work between our primaries, our secondaries and our special schools, because, you know, unless you become a parent carer, a young carer, or you have somebody within your close circle that lives with a disability or additional need, people very rarely get to meet and understand. And I think Teamability is all about changing that narrative. So picture the scene, a family's at a park, another family go there, and there's a young child maybe who has a wheelchair or with a mobility aid. It's likely, not always, but another child might go up to their parent and say, "What's wrong with that child?" If we can change that, we can flip that, and instead that child goes up to their parent and said, "We learnt about children or adults that may use wheelchairs when Teamability came into our school. I know how I can go and help that child." And maybe, even if that's the end of the conversation, to me, that's a positive change in society. Even better if that conversation then rolls on to, "Mummy, I'd like to go and say hello," or "I'd like to go and interact with that child," or whoever it may be. And I think that's what it's about, isn't it?
That was so beautifully put.
Yes.
Just keep talking.
Just keep talking. You sit there, mute, and you speak.
So,
No, but that's a good. It's
so
putting it
powerful.
into a scenario, because that's how I was going to ask you. How do you go into schools and talk about it? Would that be like a scenario that you would use?
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
They get to meet Benjamin in a virtual way, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's, You know, we're not going in to teach about cerebral palsy, about autism, about a visual impairment. It's about, okay, what are some of the common barriers which people with disabilities may face?
Yeah.
But how can we help them to overcome? We can't always change society. We can't make it truly accessible for everybody. But there's so many things that everybody can do. And, you know, I've been, or we as a family, I guess, you know, have been the victim of being stared at, you know, of children staring at us, staring at Benjamin. You know, he's 11 years old. He's in a wheelchair. He likes to sing. He likes to say hello to everybody. Some people engage with that. Some people look very disgusted as they're walking past or things like that, or they see me, you know, in Asda, I've got a trolley in one hand, Benjamin in the other, and it is a way of life. It needs to be seen as this is actually the norm. And disability doesn't need to be a buzzword that we're scared to talk about. And I think that's what's really crucial with us. 'Cause I think, you know, when you look at our Facebook post, kind of our first ever post was one of our kind of outtakes, wasn't it? And we were really nervous because that wasn't the intention, was to post our first post as us
being
really silly. I think I even messaged you about 2 hours before it was going to go live and said, are we doing the right thing? And you said yes. And I'm so glad I trusted Abby, because we want people to be willing to talk about stuff, and we why should we always stick with the norm? And the norm of what society believes, because actually what is normal? And so the feedback we've had from that, and actually when I watch back some of our more serious posts, I can't watch it, but when I watch our more silly posts, it makes us smile. And if we're talking about well-being, that's what this is about. This is about us being prepared to talk about things that are uncomfortable, can be controversial, can be quite difficult to talk about, and understand actually it's okay to talk about these things, and it's okay to say the wrong thing if you're trying to make a difference, and you're trying to learn and understand.
You don't need to sit there as polished professionals in a suit and be like trying to talk about, like, that's why I always talk about, like, when I go into schools I dress down, you know, like I would be dressed with a hoodie and leggings and stuff. I don't want to go in and people go, oh, someone's come to assess me again. And then you got to get on a level with children and just be raw in who you are. You know, it's really important. But it's just breaking those stigmas, because I'm just thinking back to maybe me being a child and seeing a disabled person and just feeling maybe just awkward and embarrassed because I don't know how to behave. And just not really understanding, you know, why is that person making that noise, mummy? Like, you would say those things because you wouldn't know. So just having that understanding. So when it came to Benjamin being, when he was born, what were the professionals sort of saying to you at that point? What were they saying that his capabilities would be?
To be honest, it was very, very limited. And I remember really vividly, I got a phone call. I was stood outside M&S at the Orbital, and I got a phone call saying, your son's got brain damage. And that is where I got my phone call. And I just remember going to the car and kind of just bursting into tears, not knowing kind of what to do or say, because even if you're prepared for something, you're not actually prepared to hear those words. And I think, you just go on, you go on this journey, I think, of the unknown, because even though he was born prematurely, we left special care with no concerns whatsoever.
Right, really?
He was
only... I didn't know that. I didn't know if you knew when you were pregnant if there was issues or after the birth.
No, so I had medical issues whilst I was pregnant. I had placenta previa, which is why Benjamin was born early. But he was actually only in SCIBU because he was early, not because he had any medical need to be, because he was born at 32 weeks. When we left, no concerns. He was about 5 months, and I remember changing him and thinking, he's not looking at toys, and he had started to have a shaky foot. So we just went to the GP. I said, he's got a shaky foot, and I don't think he's tracking. I don't think he's looking at toys. And that's when the spiral of appointments really happened. And then it was kind of one diagnosis after the other. And then with a final diagnosis, cerebral palsy affecting all of his limbs, epilepsy, registered blind, because the part of the brain that's been damaged is part of the brain which controls his sight. And I think for the first probably 2 or 3 years, it was almost a decline in my own mental health in terms of, okay, how to navigate a system, how to navigate a child who you're fighting for every day because you're not used to having to do that. And then it was just one moment I think I kind of woke up and thought, okay, and I think it was the moment when we decided to have the confidence to set up a charity for Benjamin, and when we chose the name, I said to myself, okay, this little boy, my son, is going to have an uphill battle for the whole of his life. I can either be a part of that battle in terms of my own mental health, or I can listen to what I'm calling his charity, Benjamin Smile, and we can also smile with him. And when you think like that, you see that actually if he can do everything he does, we can as well. That's not to say it's not okay to be low or to be down or to struggle, but it's realising that actually, and I think that's the whole point of Teamability, it's irrespective of a diagnosis, life will never be normal, whatever normal is for him.
Yeah.
He's starting to see. He won't shut up. He always talks. We were told he may never talk. You go to see the eye specialist. He's blind. Yes, he is blind. Yes, he's registered blind. He can see.
Yeah.
You know, if he was to come in this room now, he's never been here before.
Yeah.
He would look at me and know it's Mummy. He would look at Abby and know it's Abby.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can see. We just don't know what he can see. He can't say that we've got, black jeans on, whatever we're wearing. So,
Yeah.
And I think I think him going to mainstream taught us that, because obviously that's where you met Benjamin, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I always say to Bex, and I say it when we go into schools as well, I've been in education for 10 years and I've never met another child like Benjamin.
No.
Ever. And I guess that's quote unquote normal to be in that situation, but I absolutely loved having him. He was in, I think it was nursery. Was he in nursery?
Yeah, in nursery.
And I was in reception, and just the joy he brought to everybody.
Yeah.
The staff, the students.
Yeah.
Having that awareness as like a young, I was doing my level 3 in childcare, I think, at that point. And to have that, just to see it all unfold and to see everybody having to learn how to help him is stayed with me forever.
Yeah.
Because I think it was so powerful, and I think that's where we agree on. We wish that there was something where we could have more collaboration. I think you said it earlier, Bex, between our mainstream and our special schools, because it was the most powerful thing ever, having him in the classroom at that time.
Yeah.
And just getting everybody to see, like, hey, this is different, but this is okay too.
Yeah. There's a lot of nurturing children out there, and I remember lots of children being just crowded around him all the time, and him just smiling, and that just social aspect, and he thrived off that, and they thrived off that as well, learning. So it's really, really important. It just makes me think, I know it's not the same, but it just makes me think about, like they used to have some places, they'll take like nursery children into like an old people's home, and then what that does for the young people and the old people. Like, I remember my nan like being around Megan before she passed, and Megan was under 2, and she was just like, you have no idea what this does for me.
Yeah.
She just like brings out utter joy.
Yeah.
So like putting the two, I know it's not the same, but just like as an example of like putting 2 generations together like that, and it's what it does for everybody, gets something from it. So I think it's really, really great. So can you tell me a bit more about what you do when you go into schools and how it all kind of works with how you put it across to children?
So I guess depending on what kind of package they choose, so we can do assemblies, we do half-day workshops, full-day workshops. And I guess the end result is the children leave having a better understanding of what it may feel like to live with a disability. So they experience having a visual impairment, a hearing impairment, a physical impairment. Once they've experienced that, we then look at, okay, if you do need to use a wheelchair or you do have a visual impairment, what are some of the strategies that we can use to help somebody to overcome some barriers that they may face? And we teach sign language. That's your area of the music and the signing.
That's had really good feedback, hasn't it? The whole days have, but I think the physical aspect that Bex does and the signing are the 2 things that people come away and they're like, we got to sit in a wheelchair today, and they don't get to do that at school. And the whole sign-in stuff, one of our head teachers had said that she'd had an email from a parent that had said that they sat around at the table at dinner time, and their daughter had taught them all the sign language that they'd learn in that day.
So inspiring these
really
conversations,
cute.
and like they've taken that home. That's great.
And that's exactly the whole point. That's
spread the
what we
word.
want.
And also to spread that message, we live in such a reactive society where things tend to only be changed once something happens, and we should be living in a society where actually we are ready. So Oakhurst didn't have a child who was wheelchair dependent until Benjamin arrived. They weren't ready for that, and they had to become ready, and then it was great. So that's, I think, why sign language for us is so important, because I think people always think of signing is for people with a hearing impairment. Actually, it's not. It's for non-verbal children, and we've taught ourselves sign language for singability, because many of our children are non-verbal. So it's our way of helping to communicate with them, isn't it? And for them to communicate with us.
Yeah. I think even as an adult, only sort of us going on this journey, have I sort of realised that, like, oh yeah, this is a way of communicating. It's not for people that can't hear.
Yes.
It's a way of communicating with people.
Yeah.
That's been really powerful.
Yeah.
And we do it all the time, don't we? Like we're doing now, we're
Gesturing.
people can't see, but we're gesturing, having
Yeah.
actions
And our body language and expression.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love all the videos you put on of Benjamin as well, to show like what he does with you and what he's doing at home, and like stringing that sentence together, and what are you saying, Benjamin? And it's just so lovely to get that across. And then, like, I know he might get frustrated, but he does keep going. And he's Mummy, I'm trying to tell you something here. And I think that's amazing that you're putting that out there as well, what it can really, really be like.
Yeah. And I think there are so many children out there that may not obviously have a diagnosis, but actually also struggle. And I think one of our first bits we start with in our assembly is that we are all different. We have a slide on with different food on, don't we? And children just have to say if they like it or not. And that just shows them straight away we are all different. Some of us are brilliant at maths, some of us are brilliant at PE, and that's okay. And that sparks that conversation. I think a really special moment for us was when we were doing one of our assemblies, and we were showing that we have a lift in our house, and it was a video of Benjamin coming through our ceiling, basically, wasn't it?
Superhero style.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is really. Oh, we do, but we actually put it to Star Wars.
Oh,
music.
brilliant! Did you?
Yeah,
I love that.
And I just thought they'd have almost a bit of a smile, a giggle, and go home and say to whoever's at home, oh, this family have got a lift in their house. But actually, one little boy put his hand up and said, my cousin has a lift in her house. And I said, oh, do you want to tell us a bit more? And he did, and it turned out that who he was talking about is Benjamin's best friend at school.
Oh,
and they're in the same class.
Oh.
And he was so incredibly proud to put his hand up and have that conversation.
Yeah, my cousin.
He was really proud of himself. So I think that's what this is about. It's allowing our young carers. It's allowing others. And I think what's really important, we haven't really mentioned this, our work is for businesses as well, because everybody from reception right through to age 99, I guess. We tailor all of our workshops. We'd love to do kind of team building with businesses, or it can be a presentation where we look at kind of the workplace and how we can make that more accessible. I've had to give up my career as a teacher, so it's having those conversations, but I think bringing it from that lived experience from both of us. We're not policy makers, it's very much, this is our background, this is what we've learnt, and we want to share that with anybody that will listen to
us. And I know you won the Gel Studios, didn't you? Which is really fantastic. So what does that entail? What does that mean for you?
We went back and forth, didn't we, about what we wanted to use it for. Because what they're offering is it's incredible. It's a lot that they're going to do for us. So we are having a complete redesign of our website, which is good.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. We put it together ourselves, so it functions.
It's there.
Yeah, it's got some information on it.
Yeah.
But actually, what we have found is lots of people do look at it, which has been really useful for us to know. So we are going to have that completely revamped and
Lovely.
refabulous. Yeah. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
And is there anything else that comes with that from?
We are going to use it all.
Yeah.
On the website.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's good. So you can see like the traffic you're getting from the website. That's really
and
good.
it'll have some proper like controls behind it. Whereas at the moment, we haven't actually touched it since we
We
published
actually forget it's there sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even though we're paying for it.
it would be good. It would be good to have that. Yeah, looking really nice and professional.
So, when you go and take Benjamin for his appointments with the doctors and things, what are they quite shocked? In terms of his progression with his speech and sight.
It's always one of those tricky ones because Benjamin is probably the only child that absolutely loves appointments because he likes the lifts in hospitals.
Excellent.
So if the appointment's on the ground floor, the reward is after the appointment we go in the lift.
Yeah.
If he's quite heightened before we go, then the reward is also before that we have to go in the lift, up and down. Benjamin's diagnosis on paper compared to the child that you meet is completely different.
Yeah.
And I know that's not the case for all children, for all adults with a diagnosis, but I think it's proof that the brain reforms its channels, its pathways.
Yeah.
We had to make a huge decision in 2021 for Benjamin to have a major operation called SDR, which was an irreversible operation and actually wasn't recommended for children with his level of cerebral palsy.
Okay.
So we had to pay £14,000 and we had to fight for that lot. But just sometimes when you're a parent, you just know you're making the right decision. And fortunately, it turns out it was the right decision. And I think that has really supported him because he was in so much pain that we didn't know from the spasticity. And a lot of that pain is now gone. Some of it's come back because he now needs another major operation. But I believe, we will never prove this, but because of that decision and removing that spasticity from his legs, it freed up his brain. You know, if we have a headache, if somebody has a headache or a migraine, that's all you can focus on. If you have toothache, that's all you can focus on. Take that pain away, your brain is freed up to focus on other things. So I truly believe that's why he is now talking. His vision has improved. And I think when you have two other children as well, you've got to remember that it's all three children.
Yeah.
And we will put Benjamin into situations where maybe he might struggle with, but actually often he copes with them and he has to cope with them and he has to deal with it because we have to function as a family. Yeah. So, doctors are quite surprised. Although he does go quite quiet sometimes. I'm like, he can talk. He can sing.
Yeah.
He's
got video evidence of that.
Yes. And I think, but again, I always say I think that's because he's inquisitive. He's not knowing, is that appointment where he's going to have bloods taken, or is that appointment where he's going to have his eyes looked at and drops in, or is it just going to be a nice appointment where I get to talk? I guess the hardest part of his development now, because he is gaining understanding, now comes with frustration.
Yes.
Where he doesn't understand why he can't go to Asda at midnight. He doesn't understand why he can't. So 4 o'clock in the morning, this morning actually, he woke up and said, "How was singing with Abby, Mummy?" Which means I have to say, "How was singing with Abby?" Which is what you call singability.
Yes.
And so he said it was good. We did a lot, he said. It was so much fun. And then he'll wake up each morning telling us what his day is going to be about. So this morning, as soon as he woke up, he said, "Abby's house," because tonight he knows he's got his singing lesson.
So he does retain that.
His memory is incredible, which is brilliant.
Gosh.
But that is what brings that frustration. Him not always understanding why he can't have something now, and that's our next steps really with him now. But everything is developed. You know, he's 11, cognitively probably about 18 months, 2 years. So everything's in that kind of developmental stage. So
And do you think it helps having siblings?
Yeah.
Just being around, and because they're boys as well, just being around.
Yeah.
And he thrives off that social aspect, but having his brothers there to support him and seeing what they're doing.
Yeah. The relationship between the three of them is absolutely incredible, and I think we've tried not to hide things away from the other two. Unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
We've tried to include them in everything and be open with them, and for them to understand. And there is frustrating times when Benjamin wants to, we have to have his music or pepper on in the car, and the boys want their own. But headphones really help with that situation. So, but absolutely, it's definitely helped the process.
Good. I love hearing about it all. Really, really, really good. So what is next for Teamability? What is on the plans?
Just keep
more
keep
of what
going.
More of the same, like more schools being engaged, and
absolutely.
do you find that schools are really quite interested and they're coming back to you, and or is there any other way of sort of spreading the word really?
I think once we're quite fortunate where, because we both have been in education, we do have some connections in some areas, which has really helped.
Yeah.
I think lots of the time we are told that what we're doing is amazing and fantastic, and oh my gosh, I wish we could have you in, but it's a funding issue.
Yes.
So what we're really working on at the moment, which is new to me, maybe not so much to you, Bex, but that appealing for the funding, even filling out a funding application. Becky has really kindly done that.
Creative.
It's a great partnership.
It is. So that side of things, I think we'd like to, the funding is incredibly helpful. We had a meeting last week at a school off the back of getting some funding, and they're ready to go. And because we're like, hey, we can help you even more by sort of subsidising some costs and things like that. And we always say we want to make this, obviously it's all about accessibility, but it needs to be accessible for schools. Need to be able to be able to either, if that's they fundraise through their PTA, or they can know about us now so that they can put us in the budget for 2 years' time. So just more of the same, getting ourselves out there a little bit more. I think we speak all the time about maybe doing some sort of not networking, because we're not very businessy, are we? But even things like this, just putting ourselves out there a little bit more. Is what we'd like to do, I suppose.
I know we've spoken a lot about Benjamin, and he, I guess, is the inspiration behind this, but what we would absolutely love is to have more voices from local parent carers, children who are able and willing to talk about how life is for them, and almost, I guess, this kind of scenario, we have that conversation with them. So when we're going into schools, yes, we're still showing videos of Benjamin's. I think that's important because it's very personal to us, and it's and I think we had really positive feedback about that, didn't we? Kind of not using Benjamin, but using that journey in our story, but having other children who are willing, maybe some small videos. So, and anyone that really would like to talk to us about their experiences and how they navigated the SEND system. Because I think that's one thing, I've learned, nobody tells you anything. You have to find everything out.
And I think everybody's experience with that is so different as well, isn't it?
There's no clear pathway to anything, really.
And I think we're two people who, maybe it's the education background that we have, but we have a voice and we're willing to use our voices, and hopefully in a really positive way. But I know there are many families that don't have the energy to use their voice, and not because that life is so incredibly hard. For me personally, this improves my mental health. I needed something. I didn't want to give up teaching, so it's given me a new focus. It's given me an amazing friend. We look forward to I can't even call it a meeting, our work. It's, it's good fun. It gives a purpose, I think, kind of when you wake up in the morning. So if we can help give that to other families and enable them to see they can have a voice, and actually life's always going to be hard. There's no point beating around the bush by that, but we can try and make things easier and help navigate the process. And I think with funding, we don't want to just reach one school, one class. We want to reach the whole school community.
Yes.
So, and we want to support other local organisations who may be doing different work to us. I think all with the same end result of trying to make a difference, whether that be for the elderly, for disabled children and adults and their families, for children going through mental health crisis, whatever that might be. We've all got that end result, the same end result, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just to quickly say, I have nominated you, as you know, I just told you before the podcast started, for the Muddy Stilettos Award, which is the children on the children's section. I don't know the name of it now. So people listening, vote for Teamability. That is my shameless plea. They deserve it, and they're wonderful. Is there anything else that you want to talk about today?
That was good.
Yeah. Happy?
Thank you.
Fabulous. Right, we shall close off there. Thank you so much.